alaikum. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As you all know, today we gathered here to tell to those Hazaras who have been victims of cruel and malicious people or their inhuman actions, whether in Afghanistan, Pakistan, or around the world. Through the centuries, Hazaras have been victims either by tribal militias by the name of Kuchies, Taliban, Alqaeda, or terrorists. Now we gather today to echo our voice together for our basic human rights and to tell to those Hazaras, even though we are miles and miles away from you, but we feel the same pain in our heart and we suffer as you suffer. According to the history, entrance of Kuchies to the central parts of Afghanistan and the use of its pastures goes back to late 19th and early 20th centuries. Utilization of these pastures by Kuchies was combined with destructive fights and destructing conflicts, which always result in killing countless Hazara civilians. Now in 21st centuries, Kuchies claim that utilization of these areas is their rights on the basis of decision made by previous rulers in Afghanistan. The question is whether it's fair for Hazaras to pay for immoral decision that was made by some cruel, discriminated politicians. In fact, the strong decision enabled politicians to take advantage of it and use it for their own political interest. Once again, this conflict has been intensified during recent years. It has been reported by Afghan Independent Human Rights Commission in 2009 and 2010 that the issues between Kuchi and local people in Behsood and Daimirdad has resulted in numerous problems, such as 1,900 families displaced from their home and native areas, thousands of innocent civilians killed, including children, women, and animals, injuries of countless local people, and more than 100 houses burned down. People properties were looted, large number of livestock were missed, and agricultural products were destroyed. And school and local clinics has stopped functioning, and heavy damages were inflicted to local people. Please, ladies, point this and note it. In contrast to the report of Human Rights Commission, Kuchies claimed that 30 men of them were killed and 40, only 40, was injured. But they did not present any document to prove this, or any independent sources approved their claim. Finally, Afghanistan Independent Human Rights Commission closely observed this conflict through its regional office in Bamiyan and followed precisely the cases of human rights violation. Unfortunately, in spite of these reports, nothing has been done yet. Similarly, Hazaras has been targeted by international terrorists Alqaeda in Pakistan. Quetta. Since 2003, most of Hazara leaders, educated people, children and women has been killed by terrorist attack. Unfortunately, the Pakistani politician has done nothing to prevent this inhuman action. Instead, they have been careless and irresponsible to this situation. Now, all we ask for a Human Rights Commission around the world to please consider these issues and try to put some effort for preventing this inhuman catastrophe. To give you a summary of today, our today's speakers are Ms. Gulnaz Beg, Mr. Abdullah Yawari, Ms. Zahra Tahir, Mr. Idris Al Hassan, Mr. Khalid Dad Ahmadi, Ms. Azada Muradi, Mr. Riaz Vakil. Now I would like to ask Ms. Gulnaz Beg, who is a year 10 student in Auburn Girls High School. She will briefly report the current condition of Hazaras in Afghanistan. Please give a round of applause to Ms. Gulnaz. Thank you.
Dear friends, we are gathered here today to protest against discrimination and prejudice of Hazara people in Afghanistan and Pakistan. Why is a group of human beings being targeted every year during the spring season? Why are the Kuchies unleashed from their chains to ruin Hazara lands and homes every year? In which decent country's law allows people to intrude in somebody's home, property and territory and to loot all their sources of food, crops and cattle, and in conclusion, the thieves don't even get caught or even questioned? Why is this so? I'll tell you why. It's because the government itself supports the Kuchies to loot and destroy Hazara homes, as we have been victimized since the 18th century in Afghanistan. For centuries, we have been discriminated based on our ethnic background and religion. So, as a result of this, we have been forced to leave our homes behind and seek asylum in nearby countries such as Iran and Pakistan for reasons of achieving a better life, further opportunities and security. I asked the human rights groups and United Nations to go and see how families are managing to live their lives, how hard they work to maintain a decent living so that they can put food on the table, how they grow crops throughout the whole year and wait for the spring season to harvest and get rewarded for their labor. But in the end, they are not rewarded, but punished as the Kuchies raid their years of hard work. Hazaras in Ghazni and Nahoor are struggling to protect their lands and pastures from these armed militias. But this time, they came again to ruin the peaceful life in Hawas and killed the prominent Hazara commander and even Jawad Zahhak while he was leaving. They burned down their homes. Hundreds of people are already being displaced from their homes and lands. This is not the first time that we mourn for the men's deaths. This is not the first time in which we cannot do anything for the orphans and children who have no homes to go to. This is not the first time that Hazara homes have been burned down and destroyed. This is not the first time in which Hazara women and children have been thrown away from their homes and lands and forced to live as a refugee in their own country. This is all happening under the noses of American and coalition forces. I remind you that this began when Abdul Rahman, the ruler in the 1800s, set out a goal to bring Hazarajat under his control. This tyrant in human history massacred and pushed the Hazara population in the Rocky Mountain ranges, wiping out almost 62% of our population. We were not allowed to live like normal people. There was no education and no employment that would accept Hazara people. We have been tortured and killed and kept deprived from normal life. This is not the first time that Hazara population is under attack of these savage Pashtuns. And this is not only once that these armed militias are backed by the government. This conflict has been going on since the Pashtuns have felt victorious over killing and torturing Hazaras. We want the Taliban kept away from Hazaras in their lands. They shouldn't be allowed to snatch food from children's mouths. I ask for the international community to observe the situation occurring right now in Ghazni, to witness how many inhabitants there are in one small place. Hundreds are barely coping to live with their families. The Pashtuns, under the facade of armed militias, come and invade their homes in thousands. They attack Hazaras every year, armed with heavy weapons. They kill, they destroy, they burn, and they leave memories that scar children for life. They do whatever they wish, as the government is part of this. There is no one to stop them. So where are our basic human rights? Why are Hazaras being targeted everywhere? Help us live our lives as normal citizens. Help us find justice. Help us protect our lands and pastures from Kuchies and to end the killings of Hazaras. We want progress. We want equal rights in Afghanistan. We don't trust the Karzai government. We never will. And my dear friends, we will not allow the armed militias to drag us back to our miserable past again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gulnaz. Our next speaker is Abdullah Yawari, who is the president of Katib Hazara Association. He will talk about the importance of today's rally in Hazaragi language. Please give a round of applause to Mr. Yawari.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. با درود و سلام بر روان پاک رهبر شهید مزاری بزرگ و همه شهدای مظلوم قوم آذرا که مظلومانه و گمنام در گوشه و کنار افغانستان و پاکستان شهید میشد. قومای بسیار عزیز، از حضور شما در اینجا، از همدون شما، از احساس پاک شما یک دنیا تشکر. اگرچه در این سایه نجمع شده ممکن کم شماری یک کنه ما خودم تاریخ کوتاه و دیگر هم بگیم که تاریخ کوتاه و خلاص بگم. اگرچه قوم‌ها در شهر سیدنی خیلی زیاده، خیلی لازم و خیلی شایسته بود که امروز نفر خیلی قدر میمد اینجا ما احساس خود زیباتر و بهتر از این نشون میدادیم. در جمشدهای قومی، در گرد همایه‌های قومی، بخش هر فرد با وجدان یک قوم، بخش هر فرد با احساس یک قوم ضروره که شرکت کنه، ضروره که باید، و خصوص بخش از ما مردم حاضره. باور کنید که ما مردم حاضره یک از غریب ترین، بی پناه ترین و بیچاره ترین انسان های از این تاریخ معاصر و از این زمانی. ما مظلومینی هسته که جز خود هیچ پشتوانه و پناهگاه نداره. ما مظلومینی هسته غیر از که از فرد دست یک دیگه بیدی و با یک مای کامل برسی و با یک فریاد و یک صدا از خود دفاع کنی، دیگه هیچ مدافع و هیچ پشتیبان در دنیا نداره. و هدف از امروز نجمع شد در این جمع اینمیه که ما فریاد مظلومیت خوره، فریاد مظلومیت مردم خوره، فریاد مظلومیت از او بیچاره های مظلومی که در افغانستان به خون میتپه، خانه هایش موسوزه، زندگیش تباه میشه. فریاد مظلومیت از او بیچاره ها و بیگناه هایی را که در شهر کویته مظلومانه کشته میشن، مظلومانه ترور میشن، قد بمب و راکت و کلشنکوف بلشان حمله میشه بله مردم بی‌دفاع و بیگناه با دست خالی. ما هم ده تا ام فریاد مظلومیت از وارد در دنیا برسونی و ام بخش خودون خود این احساس را خلق کنی، این احساس را در وجود خود نهادی نکنی که ما ارتباط از ما قد افغانستان، ارتباط از ما قد پاکستان، ارتباط ما قد سرزمین، ما ارتباط ما قد ریشه های زندگی مویه. اگر ما ارتباط قد ریشه های زندگی خود گم کنی، دیگه زندگی به معنای واقعی ارزش میده بخش از ما مردم. ما در صورت میتونی پر افتخار باشی، قومای ما در افغانستان پر افتخار باشه، در صلح و صفا زندگی کنه. ما در صورت اینجا میتونی راحت و آسوده باشی که قومای ما در پاکستان راحت و آسوده باشه. اونا اگر در اونجا آسودگی نداشته، راحت نداشته، ما هم چیزی نداره. یک چیزی که همیشه در ذهن از ما میگرده اینه که جامعه جهانی چقدر فکر منیه، سازمان ملل چقدر فکر منیه، صلیب سرخ چقدر فکر منیه. از خود خیلی نپرسیده که ما چرا در فکر خود خونی؟ ما چرا بخش مردم که احساس نداره؟ ما چرا بخش قوم که احساس نداره؟ امروز از این همه با یک حساب مگر بیش از 15,000 نفر در آزرا در استرالیا زندگی است. 15,000 نفر ما شما اقتداد محدود اینجا. چرا؟ مگر احساس در ما مرده؟ ما باید اینمی احساس خود زنده کنی. ار بچه آزرا، ار دختر آزرا، ار پیر آزرا، ار جوان آزرا، ار بچه آزرا که در نام آزرا در اروپا زندگی نده، استرالیا زندگی نده، کانادا زندگی نده، او دیندار مدیون تاریخ آزرا، مدیون نام آزرا، مدیون شهدای آزرا، مدیون عزت آزرا. هر کسی که دین خود فراموش کنه، دین فراموش کنه یعنی در برابر مردم خود به احساس باشه، در غم مردم خود شریک نباشه، در درد مردم خود شریک نباشه، او خائن به تاریخ، خائن به ملت، خائن به هویت آذرگی و خائن به غرور آذرگیه. به امید و آرزوی از این که ما شما از این جمع نباشیم، ما شما احساس خوره، ما پیوند خوره، قد قوم خو، قد وطن خو، قد همسرنوشتای خو حفظ کنیم، گپای خوره. خاتمه میدیم قومای عزیز.